This is how to master Mr. Appleberry in Matchmasters. Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new video. So I'm really excited to be here because we're going to be mastering Mr. Appleberry, a booster that personally I love, and I'd love to share my amazing tips and tricks so that you can get better with Mr. Appleberry. Okay, so it's obvious straight away with Mr. Appleberry that he loves fruit, and every time he's activated, he spreads his fruit across the board and gobbles them all up, along with anything else in its way as well. So special pieces of all kinds are going to be gobbled up too. The fruits correspond to the pieces on the board, so if you fancy some lemons, the pieces he'll eat are the yellow pieces, and so on. And of course, Mr. Appleberry requires 7 blue pieces to activate. So let's dive into my favorite modes, perks, and tips and tricks so that you can get better with Mr. Appleberry. Okay, so first up we have Knockout. Now, Knockout was previously only available for SE and Legendary boosters, but it has now been opened up for other kinds of boosters, and for this one it's Diamonds. Now, I knew Mr. Appleberry would be good, but this match, before you watch it, actually turned out to be one of my greatest ever comebacks. So make sure you check this out because we're against a triple diamond El Magneto, a much better booster on paper than Mr. Appleberry. But let's see how this works. So yes, we are playing 5 colors, so slightly less colors on the board. Doesn't make too much of a difference, to be honest with you. More of a level playing field, and that's why it's even more impressive, I think, that we managed to win this one with Mr. Appleberry. So it's fair to say El Magneto started off dealing well, absolutely terrible blows against us, and we were up against it right from the beginning. I mean, they were just repeating. El Magneto was working perfectly, but now it's our time to shine with Mr. Appleberry. So of course we'll drop that customary bomb in the middle and tap the hammer on the lightning piece as well. Hopefully give ourselves, well, nearly towards our booster in the next turn. Now El Magneto actually did further damage against us, and I hope you're paying attention because we're down to half health at the moment. Our bar is not doing well at all. We're only getting our first chance of using Mr. Appleberry, and yeah, it's pretty abysmal. So let's take a look. We activate the booster and he comes across and these little blackberries all across the board, and leaves us a nice handy extra move there actually on the red pieces, so we'll take that straight away. And yeah, the only thing to really do was well, go after extra moves at this point. I mean, in 5 colors, all you can do is try and get towards that next booster activation. In Knockout, if you don't know how it plays already, then you only need 4 pieces to get towards your booster activation, and it's all about defeating their bar by matching and making good moves from those bars at the top of the screen. So Mr. Appleberry once again gobbling up those pieces across the board. Now the good thing about Mr. Appleberry is the pieces it leaves behind. So you saw there we had a nice blue match available to us, and we got to activate our booster once again with only 4 pieces needed to activate that booster. So now we're actually getting into the lead, and we used our humble pie there, and we just have 3 out of 4 pieces needed for the next booster. Hopefully we can have an extra move or a special match. Okay, good. This time our opponent has left us an extra move of blue pieces. We'll use those straight away to give ourselves another activation of Mr. Appleberry. So it really is about getting as many activations as you can with this booster because it refreshes the board. It's super useful. We'll put those lightnings together now, and that's going to give us, well, we're probably just 1 move away from being in striking distance of winning this knockout round. So right at the beginning of our turn, with only 10 seconds on the clock, we're tapping straight away to make sure we get Mr. Appleberry activated. That's going to be a decent amount of points. Extra move on the purples there. We'll do that. That gives us 3 towards our booster. We'll put these special pieces together. That should be enough to get us over the line. And Mr. Appleberry in 5 colors, proving to be the perfect match. Mighty Mushrooms is also a great match for Mr. Appleberry, and here is why. Now, the way Mr. Appleberry works is he snakes across the board and gobbles up all of these pieces of fruit. Now, in Mighty Mushrooms, there is mushrooms with various different multipliers on them, so that purple there was a +3. So what we want to be doing is making Mr. Appleberry go and chew up pieces and chew up mushrooms as well, because that's going to increase our multiplier, especially in a staged match like this where we're taking turns with our opponent. There is 3 different rounds, so we want to get that multiplier up as high as humanly possible. So Mr. Appleberry there eating the oranges, and wow, yeah, look, taking a orange mushroom straight off the board. I mean, whatever color he goes for, it's likely to hit a mushroom at least. So in round 2 we have another activation. Here he goes for the oranges once again, and I'm sure some more mushrooms, 3 orange mushrooms to be precise, are going to be collected, and that has rocketed us up to a ×15. So you saw the power of Mr. Appleberry there. If he can get those mushrooms, it really is a big advantage. Into the final round here, I don't think we're going to have a chance to get ourselves another booster. It's not looking too good on that front. I mean, this mode in particular is just about getting ourselves those blue pieces. There's not many on the board. I think we're going to have to set settle for a times 21. I mean, we've completely destroyed our opponent. Another triple diamond booster. So we took down an El Magneto. We're now taking down a Vinny Valentine as well. A really cool mode to pair Mr. Appleberry with is also Hot Color. The color in question changes after being matched, and those colors are worth more points. You can see them there on the board. It's the oranges currently. Now, we're going to try and use Mr. Appleberry to hit a lot of these colors and give us some big points hauls. So we'll get ourselves these blues. I think a purple will drop down, yes, nicely on an extra move. We get to use Mr. Appleberry here, and he's going to go across the board and gobble up all those pieces of fruit. And I think he hit quite a lot of pieces there. I mean, 41 points from that initial move is pretty large. We're going to use our clear perk now to try and, well, increase our points haul if we get another chance of Mr. Appleberry. Okay, time to activate Mr. Appleberry. Once again, he's going to go across the board, eat all those pieces of fruit, gobbles up. Sometimes you want him snaking up and down, getting as many pieces as he possibly can. I mean, we're up against a sweeper SE, and we're actually winning as well. We're in round 3, and we're still winning. So somehow we're fending off a special edition booster with Mr. Appleberry. I mean, Mr. Appleberry is punching above his weight big time in this one. And finally, let's check out Color Crush, another amazing mode that I think Mr. Appleberry complements down to a T. So we have a score legend once again, and we know that a score legend can be a good friend to a booster like Mr. Appleberry. So if we activate Mr. Appleberry here, he's going to hit all of the yellow pieces, which is exactly what we need because the yellow is the top of the score legend. So that's 100 points there from that single move, and with only 3,000 needed to get to the end, I think that's a pretty decent haul. So yeah, when you do get lucky with that color like we just did with the yellows there, it really is a massive help, especially with Mr. Appleberry. Another mode that I find Mr. Appleberry works really well with is Crazy Columns, and that's because each column has a different score. So we activate Mr. Appleberry, it's going to basically mean that we get high amounts of points because each column has a high score, and Appleberry is running across all of the columns. So let's test this out. So we activate Mr. Appleberry, there we go. So you can see he goes across the board, eats up all of the pieces of fruit, and yeah, that's yielded a nice big fat score there, right with Mr. Appleberry in Crazy Columns. So Crazy Columns, another amazing mode to pair with Mr. Appleberry. So what do you think about Mr. Appleberry, the amazing underrated single diamond booster? Let me know down below in the comments section your favorite modes to use with Mr. Appleberry. Now in terms of perks, it's going to be anything that is going to help you to get towards your booster activation faster. Not really perks you're going to want to use in play or in pair with the boosters. So I would avoid boosters like the checkerboard, the detonator, or bomb delivery, and go for heavy blue helping boosters. So you want to be creating lightning, you want mini Cleos, you want star makers, you want teleports, if you can make yourself a nice 4-match on an auto exploding mode. But let me know down below if there's any particular perks that you like to pair with Mr. Appleberry. And yeah, he's a really fun booster. I really enjoyed making this tutorial where we got to sort of run through the best modes to use with Mr. Appleberry. But I do hope you enjoyed this Mr. Appleberry tutorial, and I'll catch you soon for more content.